Welcome back, dearest listeners, to Queen of Daggers, Heart of Fire, our experimental Daggerheart actual play podcast. Hello, players.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Carmela, how are you doing?
I'm anxious of what's happening because we have two demigods, formerly married demigods, having an argument in front of the whole family. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen.
Oh, don't worry. You can call them gods.
oh, we've upgraded them to actual gods at this point.
Yes.
That's fair.
And Katie, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Also anxious about the gods in our midst.
I don't want my friends to be anxious, but also as a GM,
You
I
win.
guess I do.
Yeah.
I live in a state of perpetual anxiety. There's not a lot you can
okay.
do about
Yeah.
that.
David, how
I mean,
are
we
you?
could not play, but
That's
I feel
true,
like
yeah.
that doesn't really help.
The only way to win is not to play.
Yes.
Hi, I am here. And it is when it is, and it is where it is, and so that's how I am.
And J-Ben?
Yeah. I think David said it best. I'm good. I'm fine. Recovering from a cold. You know, this session's scary.
Yes, I remember in grad school the fight choreography master teaching us that the world's most effective martial art is running away. And similarly, the true way to optimize your player character is to make them not an adventurer.
That's right.
So we'll see what our young poets decide to do. Are they going to just, avoid danger and as sane?
Avoid this danger.
Let us return to the Shadowjack camp or just outside it. Our heroes have brought Porphyry, once an elf, now a fungal man. They've rescued him from the Sallow Ring, where the skeleton of the Lady of Madness, as the goddess of chaos was known, was holding him prisoner. He knows a great deal about what's going on, but exhausted, his daughter Kiva said, "Let's bring him back to camp." And as they approached, OrLeon heard a very familiar voice in his mind when he hadn't heard in really only a day or two, but feels like forever. Casmene. She assured him all was well, but that he should perhaps not approach the camp. They discovered, as they did approach, Glory, the Queen of Bones, and a few attendants there to recruit Shadowjacks for the Crossroad Court. When one of the Shadowjacks, Jacob, said that they do not serve queens, Glory challenged him to a fight. They were interrupted by the meteoric entrance of Fortune, the Queen of Rain, Glory's one-time wife, one-time killer, and they prepared to fight. Lorelei appeared, telling you that Soren was prepared on the road to whisk you all away. And now we are at the camp where thunder has cracked the sky. You see, as Glory grins and wields her twin swords, Miracle and Ruin, preparing to strike at Rain. The Queen of Rain unfolds from her back two giant wings. The frames, the spines, intricately engraved dark metal. The feathers, a glowing orange, very like the moss you just defeated. She flaps, and there's a sound like distant thunder as she hovers above the ground. As that sound flows through the camp, there's a moment for all of you. Time seems to pause. The crystal beads, the hopes that constantly flow down Rain as she walks, tinkle as they clatter against each other into the ground. This is perhaps a moment of possibilities shifting, potentials forming. And each of you are suddenly very aware of paths, of options. Evelyn, you think of Porphyry. He's suddenly very present to you. All of the answers that he holds. But you also are aware of every single Shadowjack so much closer to these two unfathomably powerful women who may or may not be able to stop themselves from hurting the bystander. And dimly you remember Tristan. Is he there? Does that matter? Lemma, Lorelei is with you. The moment she's safe, you could get her to safety. What does it mean that the Queen of Rain is there? Apparently, she gifted you your powers, and now you've used them. You've claimed them. Do you want to flee her? Or maybe you do. Ginny, Soren is on the road, waiting for you. What would he do if you don't show up quickly? Would he go to safety without you? Would he come back looking for you? Which is worse? But you also see that amongst the attendants, it seems, who arrived with Glory, Queen of Bones, are two of your primers. The combat primers, Ambrose, and perhaps more important to you, Irene. We haven't talked about her yet, but she would have been one of the people you worked with the most. We, in fact, will likely come back to that. And OrLeon. Glory is there. Casmene is there. Casmene is telling you to go, but she is here. What does that mean? And of course, in the center of it all, this fight. What would happen? What do you want to happen? And does it possibly matter what you want? And in this moment, you can each do something. Whether it's a preparation or a communication, a spell. You could run and stab a goddess. But one thing, and communicating counts. Yes, Carmela, Ginny.
I see my, I guess now, former teachers standing with. I still don't know how I perceive Glory. I know Casmene has some sort of affinity for her. And of course, Casmene and OrLeon have a connection, and I trust OrLeon. So I still don't know how I feel about Glory as a whole. And it would seem on the surface that I should run in and try and save as many people as I can. It's what I've been taught. But I look down at this very weak and withered man in my arms. And I look up at Evelyn. If we stay, I don't know if we can keep Porphyry alive. I think we have to go.
If we fight this battle, we'll lose the war. Evelyn turns to Kiva and says, "Can you get as many of them out as you can using your shadow poetry? We'll see to your father."
And Kiva looks at you, a flood of gratitude across her face, which she immediately corrects and winks at you. Says, "I don't even know who you're talking to." And she's gone into a shadow, out of another shadow closer to camp.
OrLeon knows he cannot stay. He has seen and learned enough over these last days to be humbled in the face of the scope of what is happening. He knows that he and his friends must be part of a solution that is so much larger than them. And so they must survive this day. And yet, he is terrified of the prospect of this battle occurring. He understands there is something more that they must do before the queens have out whatever is going to happen, or that's what he thinks. So he used Fungal Network to try and reach Kazmene and say, you know her, you are of her, as am I. Is there any way to make her show mercy or de-escalate?
I don't know. I wasn't expecting this. Usually her mercy is a gamble. Everyone gets a chance. I don't know if Rain will give that chance right now.
Will she listen to you if you speak to her?
She says, I don't know. I know she wanted to see Fortune. I know she wouldn't want to flee, but she doesn't want... I know she doesn't want innocence to die without a chance. Maybe if you could get her attention, she could draw her away. Fortune is just so angry.
Oh! I mean, they must know we're here. They know we're here.
I mean, I'd say you could repeat that to the others as the rest of your turn, but you couldn't act on that.
I can't act on it. Okay. So I repeat that to the...
To make it a little easier to you.
Thank you, yes.
You can't end the fight on your turn anyway.
Okay.
So he shares that info, and
Yes.
Lemma would have heard everything that Ginny and Evelyn said.
Lemma, first of all, says to Lorelei, "Come with us, we're leaving." And then he looks at the emerging scene of 2 gods, 2 teachers, and a bunch of bandits just like cracking their knuckles to throw down. And he wants 2 things. He wants to buy them time, to buy us time, and he wants more information. And so he's going to try something. He is going to reach back and manipulate the story of this moment in a way that isn't quite like what we saw in the battle at the Sallow Ring. Rather than rewriting what's there, he writes over it in a way that, if punctured, would vanish like sand in the wind. He's going to attempt to create an illusion. And the illusion he wants to create is of Primer Mantua.
Fascinating. Where?
I can create it within close range, so about 30 feet away from us, kind of forward and off to the side, so it doesn't appear to be necessarily associated with us, maybe like emerging out of the edge of the woods towards the main grouping. And I do need to roll for this.
Okay.
And that is a 16 with fear. And I needed to make a 14, so it does succeed.
She appears out of a shadow, very fitting for the Primer Laureate, who is a shadow sorceress and an elf at least hundreds of years old, whose form of splendor is that shadows have attached themselves to her. And as she appears, Porphyry starts. You feel him shift in your arms, Ginny. No, is it real? Mantua. There is a reaction amongst the immediate, the people in her immediate surroundings, I'm sorry, did she manifest near Shadowjacks, or?
She's sort of on the edge of the camp, so she shouldn't be close enough to anybody that they could touch her.
Gotcha.
But she should be extremely visible to the group in the center of everything that's happening, and specifically to the 2 primers. It's called illusion, and the wording is that it holds up to scrutiny until an observer is within melee range.
they would have no reason to doubt it or scrutinize it. And Ambrose and Areni are definitely surprised. I think it would be a role for anyone who wanted to read their reactions with more nuance than that. They are surprised, and
I mean, Lemma is specifically looking to see their reaction. So I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think Ginny would be too at this point because I'm so confused as to why
Same.
they're with
I
Glory.
see. All right.
That's not the only thing that he's hoping he'll discern, but that is one of the main things. So he would definitely make an, I guess, instinct roll.
Yeah, I think this is
And
instinct.
What about analyze or comprehend for knowledge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
For me, it would be instinct.
I mean, if we can use knowledge, I'll use knowledge for sure. 13, and I can spend a hope to use an experience on this, right?
Reader of people, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So 16 with fear.
I got a 22 with fear.
Oh dang.
I got an 8 with hope. I'm so flabbergasted as to what is happening and all that.
And yours was insight,
Mine was
instinct,
yeah.
and the other two
Mhm.
were knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on instinct with hope, you don't get anything deep, but
But I do get a hope token.
you get a hope token. You're focused on Areni. I want to honor the hope. Can you tell me if there was a specific question you had in mind? Your question is, why would she be here?
Yeah, what would draw her here?
What would draw her here?
Yeah.
I'll come back to you because I want to think about how
Okay.
to. We had a 22 and a what was Lemma's?
Lemma's was a 16, would be a 16 with knowledge.
Yeah, and you were both knowledge. All right, so and similar questions, right? What are these two?
Yeah.
Were yours with
Our-
hopes or fear? Or...
Ours
were
were
both
both
fear.
with fear.
Oof, gross.
Yeah.
And so with knowledge, you're thinking back to what you know of these two. You know, they're what you've seen of them at the conjuries. They're brother and sister. They're in Ferris, for what that's worth. They both teach combat, but they're very different people in some ways. Ambrose is steadier. He's not a druid, but he's got that druid sort of vibe. His bird augury is circling overhead, and you think about how much the children love augury, even though she's terrifying, the vulture eagle. And so it's so strange to see him here. You know, he's got his bow and arrow. They're not drawn. And you see Areni, who people do think of as, the wilder sibling. She's much chattier, a little saucier. People think of her as having not inappropriate relationships with students, but, I heard the teacher swear is sort of the vibe around Areni. She teaches the hand-to-hand combat. Sometimes people come back from those lessons a little fucked up, a little bruised. She does not go easy on people, but people like her. I feel like Evelyn knows a lot of rumors about her, but also a lot of them contradict each other. So even she knows not to take them all seriously. She's just easy to start rumors about. So with your knowledge rolls, you can be like, I get why Areni, it makes sense generally for people who devote their lives to combat to be called upon by an immortal queen like this. In terms of how they see Mantua, and how people react to getting caught out at something by Mantua, doing something naughty. That is not the reaction. They're surprised, and it's serious, but say on a 22 especially, I think I'm going to just tell you they believe that Mantua knows that they are here.
Oh,
Whether or not they think Mantua approves,
unclear.
There is clearly something that has happened already, and
That we don't know about.
yeah. I'll just tell you on a 22 knowledge. I think Evelyn, who's too clever by half, suddenly it occurs to you, Gloria has been to the conjuries.
Is there a sense that either one of them are being compelled or not here of their own accord. I'm not sure how Mantua's sudden presence would elicit that response, but
I think maybe on a high instinct roll,
I was
maybe.
gonna-
Oh, do you want to roll? Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
thinking that if because I was probably staring at, I feel like I've been staring at Glory this whole time, and they're in her court, so I might have seen, I mean, I noticed that they were there, right? I know that they're
Mhm.
there. So if you think they're in my eye shot and this thing has changed, then I think I would probably turn my attention to them and see what's going on. In which case, yeah, I would make an instinct roll. And I
Roll
think
instinct. Yeah. Let's round it
And
out.
I think the question in a way that, well, let's see what the roll is. Okay,
So to be clear, and I hope you don't feel tricked, while I will let you ask what you roll, I still will sometimes give different info for.
of course, exactly.
no, that makes sense.
I got double 12s.
Wow.
Now we know everything.
OrLeon sees Asteria.
He looks through the fourth wall, the fourth veil.
It's all a simulation.
This is just a game.
Your eyes meet with Ambros's eyes, and you think about, and the words that Cosmene said echo about giving people a chance, and you are immediately drawn to Glory's missing third eye, the one that is leaking ruby tears. You wonder what a chance means to Glory. She had just offered Jacob, who refused for the whole group, roles in the Crossroad Court. She responded with, then we fight. You suddenly wonder, what does a result like that mean to Glory? If you best her in a fight, does that mean you're not in her court, or does that mean she would want you by her side even more? Does losing a fight mean you're free to go? And since you crit, and this does not mean anything mechanically, but it feels so special that it was also 2 12s on 2 12-sided dice, you see drip from Ambros's quiver behind his back. Just 1 or 2 drops of ruby blood. A story forms in your mind of Ambros defending the conjuries, purblinding a goddess, and accepting the price. Irene, who knows? Irene is possibly a true believer. Ambros looks nervous. They both do, actually. About what it means that Mantua is here. About what she's going to do. Mantua's very powerful, but not as powerful as Glory. If she were, Ambros wouldn't have had to do what he did. Before I continue, I just want to make sure Evelyn and Ginny got to do enough. I don't remember. Lemma technically communicated to Lorelei. I think that was small enough that it counts as a free action, but I want to make sure you two don't feel cheated out of return.
I don't think so. I want to know what's going on, but the instinct to get Porphyry out of harm's way is stronger, and we need to get to Soren. And I think Evelyn agreed with me.
Yes.
I will say one more thing that Evelyn sees.
Mm-hmm.
After all of that is the Lord of Iron appear to stare at the Mantua to try to get a closer look at her.
Evelyn will relay telepathically to the Lord of Iron, "We are leaving."
Good. He turns to look at you. Yes. Yes, run. Take Porphyry.
Then she turns to the rest of the group. "We need to go now."
Quickly, quietly. Come on.
And I'm trying to think. Let me just make a roll. God of Fate did not roll well on his stealth. And both goddesses pause and turn to look at him. Mantua is of great interest to some other people. They don't know who she is. Glory might have eventually been reminded, oh yeah, she was at the Conjuries. It's not as big a figure to her. But she has drawn out the Lord of Iron. The queens do know. Iron, Rain says. Iron, Glory says. And They turn back to each other with scowls. So you're stealthing away. Lorelei is going with you. I think you can get to the road pretty easily now amongst the trees.
And Soren is still waiting for us.
Yes, looking very anxious and then very alarmed to see a mushroom man. He focuses his eyes to make sure he's seeing things properly. It takes a second. Waves you all into the cart. The good old cart.
I very carefully place Porphyry into the back of the cart, and I say, Master Soren, I will explain later. We have to go.
And the cart is off before he asks, where are we going? Do we know? Away, but once we're away.
We could still go to Whitmorn.
And Porphyry speaks up. Boreas. How quickly can we get to Boreas? Soren says, quick enough, a day and a half.
What's in Boreas?
The Harvest Court. Her Majesty will want to speak to us.
You want to speak to Harrows?
Oh, no. Not particularly, but if we don't go there, we'll find ourselves there. Better to arrive on our own than to be sent for. And Ginny, you remember Mariana in your dream saying that she'd see you again soon.
That she did.
The Heart of Fire.
What is it?
Harrows will know precisely what. But it is... It's all of them, all four of them. It is the spark that made them. That is the thing that can destroy them all.
Is that what you were trying to do?
No. No, crowns, no. But it is also the only thing that can bring the Queen of Daggers back.
To destroy them all?
Yes, if it's destroyed. The Queen of Bones was dead, but as you see, not dead. They can kill each other all they want right now, but if they want to do the job permanently, they'll need to destroy that spark of immortal life.
And without the Heart of Fire, do they become mortal?
I doubt it. But I don't know.
You said we need the Heart of Fire in order to free the Queen of Daggers, yes?
Yes.
And you never found it.
I didn't have it.
Does the Queen of Harrows have it?
Yes, she took it from our leader. That was 300 years ago.
The leader of the Shadowjacks?
Not the leader of the Shadowjacks, the leader of the...
Heretics.
Yes, that's what they call us now.
The heretics.
The Heretics of Hope.
Who was that leader?
I'm sorry that I'm hesitating to name him. It's been complicated. I owe him a great deal in so many ways. The Lord of Iron was trying to free his daughter. Harrows stopped us and imprisoned him in mortal-ish form, I'm told. And hid the Heart of Fire so that it couldn't happen again. And then, was that Mantua back there? You would know her, perhaps. You're revising poets. Is she still... Was that really her?
No. No, that was an illusion.
But you do know her.
Yes.
Yes, she's still at Larksong.
Well, she was when we left.
That's who brought me back 300 years ago when I was killed as a heretic.
Was she a heretic?
No, and she never spoke to me again. She told me what a fool I was being.
Did you two know each other before?
Yes, we grew up together. She'd been my dearest friend, but...
People you grow up with sometimes grow apart from you.
Well, I can't look you in the face and tell you she was wrong about my being a fool. I also can't tell you. I wish I'd listened to her.
So the Heretics of Hope, what you wanted was to release the Queen of Daggers.
All of them, hopefully.
Or both of the queens.
Both of them, ideally, but Daggers was the one we knew how to release.
And why did you want to release them?
Do you all really not hear it?
Hear what?
Keith tells me it's not sound for everyone, but everything that's on the other side of the ward, all those parts of reality that were banished, just banging on the ward, constantly calling to you, howling sometimes. That's how the Shadowjacks began. That's just what they are. Just people driven half mad by knowing that there is this other half of life that other people are completely unaware of.
Did you not fear that if released, those people would seek revenge against those on this side? Or did that not matter? I pass no judgment. I'm just curious about what you thought would happen if you released the other queens.
We thought it possible that there would be a war with casualties, but we were told that there had been love, and that there had once been kinds of love in the world that no longer even exist.
Told this by the Lord of Iron?
Yes, but it was named for us by the Lord of Iron. Things we already half knew, he put words to.
So glory is free, and if we were to obtain this Heart of Fire, we could free the Queen of Daggers as well. The Heart of Fire is currently in the possession or hidden by the Queen of Harrows. Am I understanding this correctly?
That's my understanding.
Well, at least it's not a daunting task.
Are there heretics of fear?
I suppose that's what we really were. That word didn't even get passed around.
I suppose if you were committing heresy against hope, that would make sense.
We called ourselves the Fourfold Court. It's not very exciting.
And that would be a court made of all four queens.
Yes.
I suppose that makes sense. As much as any of this makes sense.
Did you ever discover any leads on where the Queen of Harrows might have hidden the Heart of Fire?
No. And then he looks at you. Evelyn Ravenwood. My goodness, how you've grown.
We've met before.
The way you asked that question, and I was just about to say, I'd stopped looking for quite some time. But I had been, as a heretic, harvesting those messages from the Sallow Ring. I'd even compiled some into books. And only a few years ago, I consulted with your parents about one of them. The way that question was so reminded me of your mother.
I don't know if that feels good.
She came to see you recently. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Did you give her something?
I couldn't. I didn't have anything. She had the book. There were rumblings. Kiva told me that the Lord of Iron was working on something, or asking something. She's not always a reliable narrator when it comes to the Lord of Iron. I went back to the Conjuries. Your parents seemed to disagree greatly on that book. Your father wouldn't let your mother see it. Or me. they couldn't even read the text that I wanted. I remembered some of it. And then suddenly, a few months ago...
It was stolen.
Oh. Well, she didn't tell me that part. She just found me. She wanted to talk about it. I was mad, but it was new. I was able to tell her, well, what I just told you about the Heart of Fire.
She told someone else that she knew where to go next.
Then she might be in Boreas. If she'd already obtained the Heart of Fire, she probably would have returned by now.
We'll have to find her there. Is there anything else you think we need to know?
I know that the Lady of Madness chose the Queens of Chance over her own daughter, Harrows.
And that had to hurt Harrows.
I know the Lord of Iron sided with his daughters, the Queens of Fear.
Excluding Harrows completely.
The only thing I know about her role in all of this is she stopped us. Not her alone. Rain didn't want. But with Harrows and Iron, it seemed personal. Or at least individual. She was the one attacked, after all, when all this happened.
A thrice wounded party.
And things come in fours here, or they used to. Maybe she just was waiting for that fourth blow to fall. I never knew if Daggers was talking to me when I was harvesting those leaves. Mostly they were, or seemed to be, works of other people. But there were a few I could tell were hers. Those were the ones that was the book in question. Those were the ones I couldn't stop obsessing over. Why I couldn't leave that place even when I knew it was changing me.
And you gave those pages to my mother?
The book. After I was brought back, for a while I wanted nothing to do with... It seemed I was just a curse, blight on the whole cause. Better to keep it safe in the greatest library left.
The countries.
Yes.
And one of your Shadowjack companions stole it from there.
Well, that does sound like fate.
Evelyn will step away from this interrogation. I'm sure there's not a ton of room on this cart. But she thinks to the Lord of Iron, do you know where my mother is?
I could ask around.
Do you know what she has in her possession?
There's a distinct pause. Is there something specific you're inquiring about?
A book.
Do you mean Porphyry's book?
Yes.
That is a funny story. No, your mother does not have that. You held it more recently than she did.
The art book?
Yes, remember that charming boy, Tristan?
Tristan.
He set it down in his master's shop. His master sent it to your librarian. Great works of a great realm.
Is that book the key to obtaining this Heart of Fire?
It was the key to finding the Sallow Ring, but you managed that on your own somehow.
My mother told Tristan she had what she needed before she moved on. What? Do you know what that was?
If it's something within the Harvest Court, it may shock you to learn that Her Majesty has a great number of wards.
What's going on with the Shadowjacks now? Is Kiva getting them out?
Kiva is almost as clever as you. Kiva she was able to protect them. Us. Was very resourceful. I'm afraid that Her Majesty the Queen of Rain was not very pleased to see me and Kiva. If it was an instinct, she immediately regretted protecting me, but she attacked the Queen of Rain to distract her, to allow me to escape.
Where are you now?
Elsewhere.
Are they still fighting, do you know?
No. My daughter's such a curious child. When she saw Kiva fall,
Kiva fell?
she wept for her. She attacked the Queen of Rain. Rain, and I don't think she thought about it. She simply struck back. Glory saw it and fell to her knees. She kept saying, "Her death should have been mine."
Mine is in hers? Or yours?
No, she said the word mine. Her death should have been more glorious, I suppose, is what she meant. But it certainly stopped things long enough for everyone else to... Well, I don't know if they left. I, like a coward, accepted the sacrifice and made my way elsewhere.
Well, I hope you deserve it. And Evelyn stands up and comes back to the party. She sits down next to Porphyry and takes his hand.
Hello, dear.
I'm very sorry to tell you that Kiva sacrificed herself in order to save the others. She's gone.
No.
I'm so sorry.
She... Now? And he looks at Lorelei. You should have been there. Or she always loved them more than even I. But now... This is why my kind usually doesn't... Why she got 25 years and I get hundreds. And I only knew about her for 10. The Lord of Iron brought her to me. I hadn't seen him in hundreds of years, but when she ran away from Larksong, she was lost in the woods. For days, she tells it, and he found her. Brought us together. For what? I don't know anymore. I thought he had a plan. Now I'm worried that plan was just keeping me alive this much longer.
I wrap my arms around Porphyry and hold him.
He lowers his head and cries. Lorelei's also crying.
I look up at Lemma, kind of like pleading.
Lemma kneels next to Porphyry on the cart and says, "I did not know her long, and we certainly did not always see eye to eye. But I know, first of all, that she would have done anything to protect you and get you to safety. I also believe that this is exactly the end she would have chosen for herself. Whatever else I think of her, the end of her story will be that she sacrificed herself to save those she loved."
OrLeon, since hearing the news moments earlier, his first thought is regret. What could he have done to change this outcome? And then hearing what Porphyry said about her leaving Larksong, OrLeon had a second thought as he was negotiating and thinking about the different paths and what any of them could have done. He realizes she was one of them. She was one of them who found herself in a place, in time, and a choice at that place, at that time. And her making that choice mattered. It was consequential. And so many people forever will be alive. Well, not forever, but for the time being, are and will be alive because of her choice. And it must mean something that she was there to make that choice. And he says to Porphyry, she had 25, and you have hundreds. But perhaps her 25 contain the hundreds of others.
Yes, I believe that full of life is an understatement, I think. Talking about Kiva. And I think we continue on. Soren finds a safe spot to make camp for the night. You'll reach Boreas the next day. In the meantime, you get full downtime and a full night's rest. So if there's any downtime activities you would like, now's the time to let me know.
Evelyn's going to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you want to do this, but taking everything that we've heard from the Lord of that she's heard from the Lord of Iron and Porphyry now about timing and Mom and Tristan and activities and things that happen. She's trying to put together, like, she suspects that the Lord of Iron has a big grand master plan, and she's trying to see if she can see the pieces on the chessboard moving. She's smarter than I am, so I don't know if we make a roll for this or if I can use.
Okay.
I can find that for you, like, which is all about understanding complex systems of organization. Like, or even Too Clever by Half, she's trying to piece together the bigger picture beyond go find the Heart of Fire and free the Queen of Daggers.
Right.
And this is also just her way of avoiding grief for what was lost avoiding the whole thinking about.
Yeah.
She told Kiva to save the others and so that we could leave. She's avoiding that completely.
And I know I'm not going to talk Evelyn out of that, but as a reminder from last time, Kiva said, "There's no way I'm leaving the others. Yeah. Please keep my father safe."
A really valid point that Katie perfectly understands. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, but I had to say it. This sounds more like work on a project than prepare, which is fine.
Whatever you think. That's what she's doing tonight.
So what's basically happening is Evelyn is putting her fingers to her temples and seeing patterns, manipulating an object, a 3D object mentally.
Putting a mental jigsaw puzzle together.
What do you want to roll for this?
My instinct is to roll a knowledge, which is analyze, comprehend, with using I can find that for you as my experience to add to it.
Sure. And I think if you take a stress to just succeed.
If I can take a stress to just succeed, I will do that because I have this ability I've never used before from the School of Knowledge, where I can mark a stress instead of spending a hope to use an experience on a roll. And if I do that, I double the experience modifier for that roll.
That's more fun.
Yeah, it's more fun, right?
Especially since you're about to rest.
Yeah. So I will mark a stress and roll a knowledge with a +4 modifier. Sorry, with a +7 modifier. And that's a 14 + 7 is 21 with hope.
Ooh, okay.
I'll get that hope I wanted for preparing, but at the cost of a stress.
What is it you're trying to figure out?
I'm trying to figure out what the Lord of Iron is not telling me about the bigger picture of this whole thing. Because I feel like he's been moving pieces into place for far longer than we've been involved. So she's trying to work out what it is that he really wants, expects to happen, is trying to get us to do. Yeah.
You got a 21 with hope. Things are floating in your mind, all the proper nouns. You're kind of grabbing your mind and trying to put them in the right place. A lot of things are echoing, but not conflicting at first. It's interesting that he led Kiva to her father, but that doesn't seem good or bad, when you think about it. He says, he was quite open that he is fate, so what do you make of that? Or he was fate. Can't tell that he's lied to you so far.
Yeah.
So what have you seen from him that stands out, that is weird? And actually something that comes to mind is, again, not good or bad, but you just realized he reacted to Mantua. You saw Mantua, drew him out. What does that mean? He hasn't mentioned Mantua yet. He referred to you having held the book. He knew about that. There's little things he knew. And something that you remember, something very consequential, which was that Mantua was supposed to go with you to Coramel. And if we're talking about fate, that is the biggest, that's probably the most fateful thing that happened. That she didn't go with you to Coramel. She got a letter, you don't know what the letter was. It was something that made her not change when you went, not delay the trip, but send you. And Poet Hawthorne was very stymied by this. And as soon as you think Poet Hawthorne, whom you haven't thought of since he left your line of sight back in Coramel when everything was going down, suddenly his voice is familiar to you.
Yeah.
Suddenly you think his voice and the Lord of Iron's voice are extremely similar. Suddenly you think, why did Poet Hawthorne even tell us about this cave with this puzzle?
Evelyn will immediately share this with her friends. So there's still a question though that was the Lord of Iron playing at being surprised that Mantua wasn't there, or did the Lord of Iron make sure that Mantua wasn't there?
She received some sort of letter before we left, and that's why she sent us ahead of her.
Right, but the question is, did the Lord of Iron?
No, it sounds like somebody was operating against him and kept her from going there.
He wanted it to be Mantua, but he settled for us. I'll say that still does not tell you what his end goal is. It still doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
I think you would have needed a really stellar roll to just figure out if it's anything other than what he says. On that, based on things you've seen, you finally realized that Hawthorne was the Lord of Iron the entire time. And he had expected Mantua to be where you were. But when she didn't show up, she sent you guys. Or at the very least, Mantua and you. But I should say. Maybe this is too much to get on a 21 with hope, but I have already said it and the others have clocked it. So looking back, you think Hawthorne's surprise and dismay was genuine, that Mantua wasn't there with you for whatever reason.
So if he is fate, obviously he is also subject to it in some way, or there are contingencies.
Some things are still left to chance.
Well, he does not have his full powers. So
right. No. Do we know anything about it?
No, we never got it from Mantua.
It didn't say where it was from?
No.
Because where had he gone? He had gone to Boreas?
Do we have that letter?
If you want to ask Soren for any slight detail, you could. But he does not know what's in it.
Yeah.
You could tell you about where he picked it up and stuff. It's not going to be. I'll tell you now. It's not going to be a ton of info, but
I think Soren just told us about it. Right?
Yeah. Right now, only Evelyn knows any of this. But if you want to explore that, we can talk about it. So you all are all like meditating or mending your armor or whatever, watching Evelyn like with a stick scratching things in the dirt. So please paint us a picture, Evelyn. What is it? What does the moment look like where you realize?
Evelyn will 100% tell everyone what she's worked out. She's not hiding any of this. She's not being forthcoming about how she knows any of it, but that's negligent. She's pacing and talking to herself, and she's kind of up and down and all over the place and checking her things and moving while her brain is working in the background. Like she's trying to find something, like if she had a jigsaw puzzle, it would be so great because she could just she could put her fingers and the one part of her mind on that while the deeper functions sort of worked up. But she doesn't have that, so she's pacing and talking to herself and counting and doing all these things. Then she stops. Well, of course it was him. It was him. It was him all along. The poet Hawthorne. That was the Lord of Iron. That was the Lord of Fade. She said that really loudly to everyone.
Lemma internally is like, I knew I didn't like that guy.
I don't know what it means, but it's important.
And Porphyry says to Lemma, I thought your name was Hawthorne.
I was lying because, in total frankness, sir, I did not trust your daughter.
Now that you mention that, she told it to me in sort of a way. She's like, call him Hawthorne.
Kiva was sharp. I'm sure she assumed we weren't telling the full truth.
I doubt she required that of you.
I doubt she provided it to us. In fact, I know she didn't. Lemma says, not a dig, just sort of like,
No.
Yeah, that's who she was.
Right.
Yeah.
But he thought Mantua was coming. He did not expect it to be just us. He didn't know. He was surprised when it was just us. He was dismayed when it was just us. He wanted Mantua there.
Why? What? I mean,
I don't know.
she's extremely powerful, but why her specifically?
Did he want her to do... He wanted her to do what we did.
To contain Glory's power.
So Mantua would become Glory?
To use her as a vessel.
A vessel?
Yes, I remember us discussing that as a possibility when we rejected that powers, entities from beyond the ward could possibly possess mortal forms when they're brought over.
Yes, they can. We saw it.
You did?
Yes. When Glory was free, but it wasn't Glory that possessed the person who was with us. It was someone else.
Well, I think the four of you are very lucky that Glory didn't attempt that.
I think she may have,
Then-
and failed. Did any of you feel a kind of question or offer? An urge at the moment when she was released?
Evelyn blushes in response.
Yes, but I shoved it away. Apparently Hera was as pleased that I did that, but I didn't understand why.
Did you, Lemma?
I don't know. I didn't accept anything, but she offered me a kind of cruel justice that a part of me found attractive.
I guess that's what you could describe what happened with me as well. I think the only person... I remember her snaking into everybody's minds. I think the only persons that she didn't really need to was OrLeon.
She said my choice had already been made.
This is the key. This cracks the whole thing wide open.
Get the red string!
Would Mantua have recognized Hawthorne?
I don't know.
Like, is Hawthorne... We don't know. So we don't know if Hawthorne is a person who was possessed by Lord of Iron, or if Hawthorne was a, like, golem of Lord of Iron, basically.
We don't know if
You have no idea.
if the Lord of Iron has been Hawthorne for X many years. We don't know anything. Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, we don't know if there's like a another Hawthorne that's like laying in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah, you didn't investigate his home.
We didn't check the basement.
You should check the
Should have
basement.
checked the basement.
Under the floorboards.
Evelyn is hesitant to
Yeah.
ask him directly since this seems important and that maybe we should not tell him.
Like, I think at this juncture, however you're talking to him, maybe you should stop.
That might look suspicious.
We don't know. We can't trust him. And if we lose this contact, we lose it for good. Maybe it's useful. I shouldn't. It's up to you, Evelyn. It's up to you.
Well, the only way to get rid of it is to use it with someone else, and I don't think that's wise.
That's a read.
Dearest listener, all of our faces when she said that.
We all look pointedly at Lemma.
I don't think any of you knew that they were telepathically connected at all.
No, I did not. I just
No, but we or Leon senses attention.
yeah, but I do know that something
Yeah.
happened and it made you upset, and that's why I asked.
But
"Do
she
you want me to
said
hit
nothing
Lemma
was
for you?"
wrong, Ginny. Repeatedly, loudly, many times.
like she can't spot a lie.
Oh no, OrLeon actually figures it out because OrLeon remembers suddenly
That's right.
that
OrLeon would have insight into it.
that for a brief moment in the forest, amidst all of the other insanity that was happening, he remembers, almost as if in a dream, almost as if it doesn't rate, given the events of the last 2 days, which include him learning that he can turn into a bear, which he still hasn't really processed. He remembers
Dave.
that Evelyn's voice appeared in
She
his
explained
mind.
that.
Oh, right.
And
There's a
explained that
very
it was
plausible
awkward,
explanation
but it
for
didn't
that.
need to be. And it
Look. All I'm saying is I grew up in a town full of people who say they're fine behind a smile but are thinking something else. I could clock that.
We were drunk.
he immediately understands that she previously had this connection with Lemma, and looks at Lemma, and then looks down.
Evelyn grew up around a lot of very literal people. So I don't think she understands that other people can read context clues and figure things out without explicitly being told. But also, she doesn't understand why all of this upsets her quite with the articulation that apparently Ginny and OrLeon do. So
It's like, wait a minute.
How does Lemma take that? Does that mean something to Lemma?
Lemma, I think, as a reader of people, understands in this moment exactly what is being said and realizes that his reaction when we arrived at the Shadowjacks camp really hurt Evelyn. You see him sort of process it, make a decision, and kind of nod slightly to himself. But he's inscrutable, so you don't know what that means.
it looks like he's a little bit distracted.
But you also do know that you saw her making those same faces on the cart that she was making when she was connected to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You get the equivalent of a screen with the caption, Lemma will remember this.
Does Evelyn know anything about the Lemma Lorelei connection?
She just saw him walk off after the trail of people who had been resurrected.
I think as we were walking to the Sallow Ring, I explained some of that context. Yeah.
but you do explain all of it.
I didn't explain when we arrived at the camp. I was so freaked out that I rudely interrupted a psychic connection in a way that could have caused a permanent rupture in a friendship. There's a basic understanding that this was a huge thing.
There's a basic understanding.
With your permission, I'd love for Lemma to take his downtime next. As this conversation circle breaks, Lemma is processing what he's just observed. He recedes from the group a little bit, and he opens his book, the Book of Belvedere. And he turns a page, and on that page he reads the words, "Lemma reached back and drew forth a delicious cup of tea." And he does so, and he now has a delicious cup of tea. And he goes over to Evelyn and offers it to her. And by the way, I don't think anybody else got this context, but Asteria gave me a sort of upgrade on the book that I got from the peddler, based on spending some time with it. So it is now a magic item with the following description. The Book of Belvedere. Once per session, you may spend a hope to create a non-magical item. It can be any relatively common portable item as long as it is something that you love. The item has all the normal properties such items generally do. If you spend an action making it, it is a generic version of such an item. If you spend more time on it, you can determine more of the detail. It lasts just as long as a standard version of the item would last. It is not magical or illusory in any way. There is no limit on how many such items can exist at once. And I can create more or less unique items at DM's discretion. So I think Lemma spends a little extra time on this, so it's like his favorite specific variety of tea, the kind that he associates.
Tell the listeners the end of the text. I don't want them to think I'm a sap.
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah. The final note on the item is, the Caudal Ward knows your heart, and if you try to circumvent the spirit of this spell, it won't work. So there.
What a delightful object. Mm.
Oh, what a wonderful magic item that is.
So Lemma spends a hope and bears, this is I think it's like a lightly smoked tea, so it's not quite a lapsang souchong, but it's on its way there. And he carries this to, where's Evelyn sitting?
I think after that little outburst, she resumed her pacing a little bit and ended up a ways away from everyone.
So he approaches her and hands her this cup of tea, and as he is giving it to her, says, "I think I owe you an apology and an explanation."
No, that's not necessary. There's no, I'm not even sure what you. That's no.
He
Please.
interrupts her. When we approached the Shadowjack's camp, I saw Lorelei. The last time I had seen her, I had undone her passage across the wood. And from that moment came an unimaginable rupture in my life. I felt a kind of all-encompassing fear, and the only thing I could think to do was protect myself and try to hide. I think if she had recognized me, I would have fled. I was so focused on what I was feeling that I did not think about how that might translate to you. And I think it was hurtful, the way I cast you out. Regardless of whether you need an apology, you deserve one, and I should provide you with one. So here it is. I'm sorry.
Lemma, I'm sorry that happened to you. Not for the result, obviously. Lorelei is I'm sorry that I only saw this in terms of me. That was very rude. I never meant to be an intrusion to you, or something you had to hide from, or anything like that. I'm sorry. I don't do this very well. I don't have many friends, never have, and I'm sorry too.
Thank you. You weren't an intrusion, and I think perhaps you leapt to judgment, but you judged based on the information that you had, because I said nothing to any of you.
Well, thank you for telling me now. If there's anything I can do, this must be a very jarring transition.
In a strange way, I feel freer and lighter than I have in a year.
Evelyn does something she has not done since they left the Conjuries, and she smiles without speaking.
Lemma smiles back.
Evelyn takes a sip of tea and then offers the cup back to him.
Lemma says, no, you can keep it.
Where did it come from?
Lemma, with an instinct for an exit line, says, I just make them now, and leaves.
Evelyn stares after Lemma leaving, frowning, and then finishes the tea.
So, Asteria, I wonder if we would consider this moment of emotional processing to be a preparer action, taken in concert with another member of the party.
I like it. That means you both get a hope, yes?
We both get 2 hope
Oh.
when it's cooperative.
For the first time ever, I am full of hope. I mean, I already was, but
Yeah,
I appreciate
That's
that.
fine. I still wanted to. I got what I needed.
Oh. Teenage boys. Yes, take your 2 hope.
I knew there was an angle for Lemma.
OrLeon and Ginny, downtime?
OrLeon, do you have anything that you want to do? Since it's been a little bit since you've talked.
There's something I would like to do.
Great.
I have a question. So, whatever line I had open with Kazmene, is it still open? Or, I mean, do I need to test to see if it's still open? I guess that's probably what I need to do.
I'd probably have you roll again at this point, just because you don't know what she's up to, if there's interference.
Okay.
Give me an instinct roll, please. You're looking for a 12.
I rolled a 16 plus 3 instinct, so I rolled a 19 with hope.
Yes, and you can tell right away that she can hear you.
Okay. I have been paralyzed with a fear, or not a fear, a painful, thick, heavy feeling that Kazmene witnessed me fleeing for the first time. I've been afraid to, communication with her was always uncertain. But seeing everything that's happened and moved by everything that's happened, I know that I cannot get to Boreas without knowing more about what we left behind and what's happening now and where she is. So I reach out to Kazmene and I say, "Are you there?"
OrLeon. Yes. Are you all right? Is everyone all right?
Yes. Yes. And did the queens... Where are you? Where is she? What does she want?
Now I'm not so sure. It was so strange and scary. Aunt Fortune, when she saw Glory weep, made her angry but sad too. I think she felt bad for what she'd done.
What she had done before?
She killed the girl in front of us. I don't understand the rules for when that makes them mad and sad and when that's all right. I don't know if this is where I belong. I thought Glory needed me, and I thought that meant I needed her. And now I don't know if any of that's true. I miss you. That's so strange to say, that it's possible to miss you. That didn't used to be possible.
If we can feel ourselves apart, does that mean we could feel ourselves together? Could you stay? If we save this world, whatever it is, whatever happens, could you stay?
I think so. I thought I wanted to feel everything. Now I'm not so sure. But
do you want to go back?
I don't know. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I might have an idea. Where are you going?
And OrLeon has a feeling. Not a feeling, a thought. And that thought is, I can't tell her. And that thought weighs more than 1,000 giant stones. And he simply says, I can't.
Oh, that's part of it, isn't it? Being my own. You don't know me anymore.
You're with her.
The funny thing is, I don't know me either. I knew myself so much better when all I had to do was know you. I'll figure it out. And you feel her recede.
I call into this world. We will feel together.
You think she likely hears you, but then the connection fades. And as you reach for it, you hear, deep in the roots of your mind, we have something in common, I think. And Porphyria is looking at you. You'll have to pardon me. I'm very sensitive to rumbles in the network. Are you all right?
OrLeon heard those words, rumbles in the network, and felt rumbles in the Earth's core, afraid more even than of death in a way, afraid of the one-way passage of time. And he says to Porphyry, I am alive.
Yes. That's good to remember. We're alive and we are part of something.
What do we have in common?
For at least a moment, we were not alive.
Oh, yes. That.
Long enough that we were able to connect to a part of the cycle of life.
I think I need to rest now.
Yes, my apologies. I shouldn't have intruded.
OrLeon brushes that off, not unkindly or dismissively, but in acceptance of sort of course, and puts his head back and listens.
Ginny?
How do I follow up all these wonderful things? I have helped Soren untuck the horses, and my hospitable nature that I grew up with starts to kick in, and I help make Lorelei and Porphyry feel more comfortable, although I think they're both more used to sleeping on the hard ground than I am. And I pick up my shield and sit by the fire. And shield suddenly feels 10 times heavier than it did the previous day. And I look it over for nicks and dings and things that need to be hammered back out. And of course I find nothing. But I still reach into my pack to grab my repair kit and pull out those vellum orchid seeds. I hold them in my hand. We don't grow these in Hornsbend, but holding seeds just kind of makes me a bit homesick. Growing things, tending to the harvest, all things that were familiar. And I've just been surrounded by things that are just so foreign and alien to me, and things I thought I knew are nowhere near what reality actually is. And I think about Aniri and what she was doing there. Is there anything in my previous history with, being her student that could give me any insight as to why she would be with Glory? We never did circle back around to my hope.
No, we hadn't. You hold those seeds, and you remember sparring with her. Your mind returns to the conjuries. You're in a small, freestanding stone shed, sort of the combat studio, if you will. And you have just had a foot planted firmly in your chest and been sent sprawling to the floor, not remotely for the first time. And above you stands a smirking Inferis woman, gestures with her head. Come on, love. On your hooves again. You can do better than that.
I am frustrated, but I also know that I have been somewhat holding back because I'm afraid of hurting somebody. So I get up on my hooves again, blow my bangs up and over one of my horns, and I resume my stance, ready for the next round.
She hefts her battle axe. It is not wood or blunted. That's right. Come make your parents proud, or whoever it is that sent you here. Come at me. I'll give you a free shot.
I don't know if pride's the right word for it. And I lunge forward and make a swing with my axe.
She shifts aside, trips you, elbows you in the back to the ground. Why would anyone in this realm give you a free shot, Ginny?
I cough out a laugh and roll back up onto my feet.
That was a good swing, though. If I'd been anyone else in Lacuna, that would have split my skull. So, well done. There, sit down, have a rest.
I toss my axe and shield to the ground and pick up my water skin and try and shake it off.
And unable to help herself, she rears back her axe as though that was a trick too,
and I sidestep out of the way.
Well, now I wish I'd actually taken a swing. She smiles and sits down next to you.
I squeeze my hand. You guys haven't seen this since we left the Conjuries, of me making sure that my hands aren't doing anything they're not supposed to be doing. And I then just rub where she kicked me in the chest. And it feels a little better after I do that. Doesn't hurt nearly as bad. There'll still be a bruise, but it'll be much, much lighter than what it deserves to be.
Did I hurt you?
Nothing I can't handle.
Good, but I should try harder next time.
Well,
It'll keep you safe when it's real.
I thought it was my job to keep somebody else safe. Damned what happens to me.
And it's my job to get you ready for it. Gotta know what pain feels like.
I think I'm going to need a bigger shield if we're going to keep on like this.
Eventually. But you are the shield, Ginny.
That's what they tell me.
Do you like it, fighting?
I'm good at it. It's what I seem to be made for.
You're better at it than you are answering questions, I'll give you that.
I apologize. That was rude of me.
No, I don't mind rude, but I still want to know.
It feels good to have a purpose. So I would say yes.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think you'll be able to hurt someone to protect someone else?
And I sit with that, take a long pull from my water skin. I'm used to fending off wolves and attacking vermin. Like a person is another matter entirely, but I think I would. I don't know. I would protect who I needed to protect, but I don't know how it would feel for that to end someone's life.
She stands up. Do you think I could ever get you to hurt me, even a little?
I'd have to hit you first.
I do hope you ever hit me. That is part of the training, but
I'm
not going to try to make you mad or anything like that. That's not
No, I don't think
your style.
I don't think you would do that. It seems so unpoetic to admit that I am afraid of hurting somebody because I don't know my own strength.
Oh, I like that. There are a lot of kinds of poetry. Your own power, are you? That's not one of my fears personally, I have to admit, but...
What are you afraid of?
She thinks. She looks out the window. Probably not supposed to answer that.
I look around. It's just the two of us. I'm really good at secrets.
I'm afraid of following the wrong person all my life. Even a good person can be the wrong person to follow, depending on who you are.
I nod my head. Makes me think about the counts of elders back home. All lovely, wonderful people, nice people that I grew up knowing my whole life. One of them being my own Nan. But don't know if they're right. And I look up at you, and I just nod my head. I think I understand what you mean.
Good. Because there's only so many ways you can say no to who you are. Eventually you find the thing that calls to you. And if you push too hard away from that, then, well, metaphor's not my thing. I'm sure there's... Amber's probably has a good one.
Probably need one of those, I don't know, grace poets to give you the right words.
My point is, and she grabs you by your arm and yanks you up. I'm good at taking an axe and swinging it, finding the right spots. I'm good at taking a hit when it lands. It's not always clear what the best uses for those skills are. For now, and she swings on you.
I immediately, go back into fighting stance and block her off, and we continue to spar.
For now, this is the right place for that. Probably.
Can I roll to see if I hit her?
Yes.
Okay. That is a 24 with hope.
That will hit.
Do you want me to damage her or no?
You're gonna dent the shit out of her armor.
Okay.
She's got good armor. And if you want to knock her prone, I think you have abilities to do that, don't you?
I have Body Basher, and what that'll do is it adds my strength modifier to my damage total.
I keep getting that wrong.
Yeah. So I can hit you super hard.
Yeah, I think you knock the wind out of her.
Yeah.
And she's very surprised.
And I hold my hand down to her, and I yank her back up.
All right. That's certainly a start. That's what you remember. Does that answer your question?
I think so.
I feel like you rolled really high.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think it does. So I sit there and I think about her and what she said about afraid of following the wrong person for the rest of her life.
And I think with your role, you certainly understand now, if you didn't at the time, that she had meant her brother when she said that. Following her very even-keeled brother doing even-keeled things.
Right. But Ambrose is with her too. Is that because he wants to protect Aniri? Or is she still following him?
I mean, if you discuss this with the others, because you're the only person who rolled poorly on trying to figure all that out at the time. But in this memory, I think you strongly suspect that she chose the Crossroads Court, that this was her believing in having to feel pain, having to understand that in order to be a poet.
Is Ambrose the younger sibling or the older sibling?
Would you guys know that?
I would have probably talked with them at some point.
Possibly. Let's say he's older.
I infer that she went to the court willingly, but I'm also an older sister and would do anything, including put myself in danger to protect Reese and Peter. So I think she went and Ambrose followed.
I think that's very reasonable. I mean, if Ambrose reminds you of anyone, it's OrLeon, and you know that Glory and OrLeon have a connection. Not that OrLeon is running to join the Crossroad Court, but you also don't know what Ambrose's thoughts are on, the philosophy of the Queen of Bones. But it's a pretty good bet that Ambrose had a different reason for being there than Irene did.
Right. I look back down at Mariana's shield and I wonder what is waiting for us at the Harvest Court. And I suddenly feel very, very tired. I ask Soren if there's anything else he needs, and check on Porphyria and Lorelei one last time.
Soren's sitting with Lorelei. She's having some shroud time off by herself, and he's sitting and talking with her. Clearly, she's having a hard time with the news about Kiva, and he's talking with her, mostly out loud, but perhaps a little bit mentally, mostly just sitting with her. He smiles up at you, but it doesn't seem like they need anything.
All right, and then I go and sit with Porphyry and start repairing my armor. And I don't say anything to him for a few minutes while I'm doing that. And then I just say, I'm so sorry about Kiva.
And he nods, thankfully. It says, "Did you know her? I can't tell so much. Apparently the four of you personally released Glory.
Yeah.
There's a lot to take in. But did you know Kiva?"
I got to witness a Shadowjack wake, and I got to know Kiva, at least in the way that too much wine lets you get to know somebody.
It's one of the better ways to get to know my daughter.
Yes, unfortunately, I'm one of the reasons that wake had to occur. So, I seem to trail death with me wherever I go these days.
That's likely why they felt you fit in.
They did teach me some very, very interesting songs. She was very protective of her people, and I admired that.
It was so strange meeting her. As I said, I've lived a long time. I know why I am the way I am. But the things I've seen, I didn't know Kiva existed until she was 15. The Lord of Iron brought her to me, and she was just born knowing all of that, it seems.
If you don't mind me asking, why did it take so long? Were you not close with Kiva's mother?
No, she was just a... If you'll pardon, miss, I met my mother the one time.
That would get you run out of Hornsbend.
Ah.
But I understand.
You know, I had a positive impression of the woman.
Oh, I would certainly hope so.
More so, perhaps, than her daughter did, but not in a specific way. Kiva just was born a Shadowjack, I suppose. She did not like where she was, wherever she was, until she found us.
I will say that she had an ease about her that I think only comes with knowing you are where you belong. And that is invaluable to someone's soul.
That's why I just, after all this time, I don't know what to make of the Lord of Iron. And she didn't either. They were close for a bit. She said I didn't have the right to ask questions about it as an absentee father. She didn't blame me for being absent unless she wanted me to butt out.
Of the brief time that I knew her, that makes total sense.
There's a certain point where she rejected him. She just said that she didn't want a fate.
She wanted to leave everything up to chance.
No, neither. She wanted not fate, not chaos. Whatever happened, she wanted to be its author. In the end, she didn't want 4 queens. She wouldn't have minded them, but she didn't care for any of them. That's why Madness called her that girl who wanted to be a god. That's what the gods think of mortals who don't need them.
Do you think you can rest, sir?
Yes, thank you. I have to.
So I don't know, it's probably a horse blanket because we don't have a whole lot of stuff with us right now. And I just kind of make it up into a pillow.
A horse blanket would be delightful. After 3 months in a graveyard.
Yeah. And kind of shape it into something that he can rest his head on. And I just watch the fire and repair my armor.
With that, the camp quiets down for the night as you all have a lot to think about to prepare for arriving at Boreas in the morning. Soren has finished just about setting up the tents. Is there anything else before you all go to sleep?
Just as things are winding down, since speaking to Evelyn, Lemma's been off to the side by himself, writing something. And while the others are getting ready to bed down for the night, he heads over to Porphyry.
He's settling down outside of Lorelei's little tent. Looks like he plans to sleep under the stars. It's been a little bit since he's slept with a covering. So he's taking a bit of a sentinel position next to the tent. Not quite right in front of it, though. You would have privacy. You wouldn't be overheard.
Good evening.
Oh, hello. Not Hawthorne. I don't think I caught your actual name, son.
My name is Lemma.
Emma. He nods, sat on the ground, his stump-like arms curled around his knees. There's an elegance in the nod that makes you remember he spent hundreds of years in elf form.
I would like to offer you something.
Yes, of course.
I was raised to be an elegist.
He nods. He knows of elegists, it's clear.
I don't wish to impose a service that you haven't requested.
Oh. For Kiva.
Yes.
No. Please, Lorelei's a bit overwhelmed. She's never done her own kind of practice without, well, the body.
Yes. Normally, in my family's tradition, there would be a body and words would be spoken. In full honesty, I did not like Kiva and I was not kind to her. And I had my reasons. And I think her feelings towards me were complicated as well.
How long did you know her?
A matter of days.
Well, I know that she at least valued honesty over what people saw as kindness.
Yes. I think that's true. We do not have her physical form, so I have taken the liberty of creating something lasting that I hope will do justice to her memory. I have endeavored to make it kinder than I was to her when she was alive, but also honest. If it would be of comfort to you, it is yours. And Lemma hands him a small scroll.
Could I hear you read what it says? He will read it silently.
So as Porphyry unrolls the scroll, he sees a poem. The poem has a title. The title is Villanelle Elegy. And it goes like this. Those who she loved, she killed for, or she tried. She was a crack of laughter in the dark. She wrote her ending, laughing as she died. Fate she was given, but she cast aside a destined life for half an arrow's arc. Those who she loved, she killed for, or she tried to give them what she would have been denied, the chance to flare and go out like a spark, to write their endings, laughing as they died, a little later with her at their side. She shielded from queen and hierarch those who she loved. She killed for, or she tried to kill for, love. But dead is dead. She lied a little to herself, I think. She marked so many endings, laughing as they died. But those who loved Kiva still can say with pride, she was a crack of laughter in the dark. Those who she loved, she killed for, or she tried. She wrote her ending, laughing as she died.
He holds it in his hands for a bit. You're not sure how many times he reads it. He looks up at you. You didn't like her?
I grew up on the road. I was raised to hate those who prey on travelers.
How does that lead you to write this?
I was also raised to honor the truth of the dead. All of these things can be true, and the grief of those who loved her is real, no matter what I thought about her.
This is the world she never understood, I think. I feel closer to her reading this because I can't comprehend how you could have written it without knowing her and understanding her and caring for her.
Well, whatever else I may have thought about her, she was vivid. Perhaps easy to read is not true, but easy to see, ironically.
Just vivid because she felt everything. She didn't understand why no one else did. You know, I don't know what name her mother gave her. When she showed up to camp 10 years ago, told me she was my daughter and her name was Kivaka, actually. Kiva's a nickname. It's an old Ferris word, actually, for a kind of crown of leaves. She didn't speak any in Ferris, that I could tell. But she never questioned what names people gave her. And she made it clear that the life before she ran off into the woods, that wasn't her life. That was in the way. And then he looks up at you. You're the one who brought Lorelei back.
Yes.
And you're getting used to his facial expressions by now. His face is perfectly expressive. There's a softening, a warmth. Though he still clearly is puzzled by you. Did you know her?
Lorelei?
Yes.
No. No. In a sense, I didn't meet her until after I met Kiva.
That's fascinating. I was brought back by someone very close to me. Perhaps I've been slightly more honest than kind, but may I ask you a personal question?
Certainly.
Did you ever feel that you were different afterwards, that you had gained something, as though part of the person you brought back was now Lorelei gained a part of your gift? I know I gained a part of Mantua's. Lorelei's not a poet. I know you didn't know her or any...
I don't know. To be honest, for a long time after it happened, I was so consumed with anger and denial and regret that to pick out any change, any sense of what I had gained would be like trying to pick a single current out of the ocean. It's strange. My whole life I was trained to accept what comes, to accept that which is happening and which will happen. And I refused to for a very long time. I have only recently begun to accept the truth of who I am. And maybe now I will be able to answer your question as I perceive that, as I perceive whatever trace of Lorelei is in me.
Fascinating. And he shifts a bit. And when I was a young man, or an elf's version, the god of fate told me that I was fate's instrument. What happened must need happen, but could only happen with my help. And then, well, things didn't go as planned, including for the god of fate. But I will tell you one thing, because with Kiva gone, not many know it anymore. He'd told me back in those Hope Heretic days that our fates specifically were intertwined, his and mine, that I would reunite him with his daughter, as he would one day reunite me with mine. But when he met Kiva in the woods, he didn't know what he was supposed to do with her. He didn't remember most of the fates he'd known or wrought, or he just knew he'd been drawn to her and needed to do something. I'm telling you now because I spent 300 years thinking it was all wrong. And now, of course, I'm not so sure. Maybe it just happened in the wrong order. I don't know what she would have thought of any of that. I wish I had a drink so I could raise a toast to my daughter, whose proudest achievement may have been how she vexed the god of fate.
Well, there's no rule that says you have to give a toast immediately. You can save them up.
I suspect I shall. Thank you, young man, for the elegy.
Of course.
And for saving me from madness and all of that, I suppose.
Of course. That we did under duress. This I give freely, in the hope that it may comfort you. Please let me know if I can be of service.
I will. And the same to you.
Lemma inclines his head and recedes into the night.
You sleep uneventfully, and in the morning, Soren brings you to the gates of Boreas, or home, if you're OrLeon. If you're Ginny, and perhaps Lemma, to the largest city you've ever seen and far larger than you've imagined. I don't think Evelyn's been here either, but you've been to Whitmore. And, well, Lemma and Evelyn have been to at least a city. Ginny, this is going to be a lot of sound.
Yes. Already a little overstimulated by it.
As you come up the Hyperion Road, cresting the hill, you see the spires of the Harvest Court itself, a bit different than the architecture of the rest of Boreas, and very different from the architecture of Whitmore, which is very standard and man-made. Whitmore is the kind of city that people build around a fort on a lake as the city expands and becomes more prosperous. Boreas is a city that is planned and created by a god queen of industry and will and planning. And as you see the spires of the Harvest Court itself, there is clearly a hand of imagination, whimsy. The spires twist and gleam. There's crystal involved, perhaps a nod to or a hand from her sister. And at the gate, to greet you, no doubt to Ginny's relief, is Mariana herself, the Shield of Lacuna, the plowshare, the first poet, as unmistakable to the rest of you as she was to Ginny. Even without her shield, the rest of her accoutrements are iconic. Soren rears the horses immediately. He's been to Boreas many, many times, but never has Mariana been there to greet him. She strides up to the cart and addresses Ginny directly. Her Majesty keeps eyes on the sallow ring. I told her she wouldn't need to send for you, that you'd report in as soon as you knew. I'll escort you. She's waiting for you. And she smiles at the rest of you.
Of course, my lady. Lead the way.
And she hops up to sit next to Soren.
Master Soren, this is Lady Mariana.
Yes, I am aware. Welcome to the cart, Lady Mariana. And she nods very graciously.
That anxiety of me wringing my hands is creeping back into my fingertips, and I just squeeze my fingers over and over again, because I don't know what's going to await us in the Harvest Court.
Evelyn lays her hand on Ginny's shoulder.
We will learn a great deal more next time on Queen of Daggers, Heart of Fire.
Thank you for listening to Queen of Daggers, Heart of Fire, a production of Hagdeal Gaming. If you like what we're doing here, come say hi on Blue Sky or TikTok at Hagdeal Gaming. Leave us a review. We'd love to know what you think. And remember, as a wise person once said, what are you afraid of?